Okay, boys, we're at the finality of the build. I don't think I'm really going to take it further than this point. So I just want to kind of quickly go over everything, just explain how the build works in case anyone wants to do this. I don't know if I really recommend it. It's fun for what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do like a bunch of ambush farming and toxic sewer, and I mean, as you can see, it works really, really, really well for that. But it's not extraordinarily tanky. I don't know if it can do pinnacles. I don't know if it can do T17s. I seriously doubt it. Well, okay. It can do T17s, but certainly it cannot do T17 bosses. We don't even remotely have enough damage. Just period. Unless you wanted to have a second 6-link that you would then swap for a fire trap setup or a whatever setup, you know, like Scorching Ray or something like that. If you wanted to swap for the boss, I don't know. I don't really think it's worth it, but that's just me. I don't typically farm T17s anyways. I just like doing my thing in T16s and just chilling. This build was never meant to be like, hey, let's make the best, most efficient Elementalist build ever of RF, right? This was, I had an idea for RF. Let's see if it works. It could be kind of cool. And that's all this really is a cool build. Right, so for those that have not seen the first video, let's talk about the basics. Right, we have RF and just an armor helmet, Elder. Let's see, fire mod crafted from Harvest, Elder influence, nothing crazy. Live fire res, DOT and Dex neck that we needed. Needed this for all res. I don't really care for blocking attack damage right now because we're converting like a ton of it to fire. 40% from the chest piece, another 24% from the ascendancy because it's additive, and then we have our girl here who's giving us another 25 on top of that. I don't know if this is additive or multiplicative. However, the nearby for the mercenaries, I've heard it's quite large, right? So we're converting a lot of our fizz to fire, so I'm not necessarily concerned about having any attack block. And we have like a little bit of spell block, which is never a bad thing. We got all res, which is always nice to have a little bit of a ceiling. Spell damage, and then just a very easy breezy fire res max life dex ring with an open prefix. Pretty well rocking Cloak of Flame. We actually fused this in less than 100 links, so woo woo. We just bought this. This was about 130 chaos. It really wasn't that expensive, and it was well worth the money because you'll find out here in a minute why we went with this ring and why we have so few buttons, right? All I really use is our shield charge. Everything else is automated, right? That's what I really wanted with this build, just a lazy farmer. We just upgraded our boots, and I think I paid a div for these. They really were these were 50 chaos. That's right. So these were 50 chaos. They were missing a prefix and a suffix. We crafted the suffix and then we slammed 64 flat, and now we have these boots, and this is where our golems sit. There's a little bit of chaos damage issues with the golems. They tend to take a lot of chaos damage because I don't really have anything to give them any chaos resistance. So, especially in Toxic Sewer with that spider boss, if you don't kill them quick enough, you might have one die. But for the most part, these things do whatever I need them to do in T16s. They've been just fine with everything that I've thrown at them so far. And we still need to get everything qualityed up, right? So we're missing a bit of survivability and a bit of damage. Same thing here. Like, we don't have awakened jewels. Or excuse me, we don't have awakened gems. We do have a Vow Righteous Fire, which is very nice. Very generic res belt. Easy peasy. Same thing here, trying to bump up, get some life regen rate, trying to bump up our regen as high as we can. I think as it stands, we're at about 1,624 life per second. Very nice. I'm not as concerned about +1 level to all fire skill gens because we don't really get a lot of damage out of that for Righteous Fire. So this is going to end up being upgraded again. This was like a div and a half, and I think we can do a lot better mod-wise. And I think it's possible we can probably reach probably over 400k tooltip Righteous Fire DPS, which would be very nice. I'm going to be honest, it would be very nice. We just have a basic granite flask on auto. We have a conch ground with increased damage and armor effect. We have some extra move speed from onslaught. We have extra regen. I didn't really finish rolling this, TBH. And then just a typical corrupted blood joint. How the build works is I saw how this wave of conviction of tartar sauce worked. And as everyone knows, if you're running Elementalist, a lot of times Fire Trap does not proc. It never really, it was hard to proc for me personally. And I found Fire Trap to be cumbersome, procking my exposure, having to self-cast Curse, and then trying to proc Convergence on a reliable basis. And I was like, what if I do the build with Wave of Conviction of Tartar Sauce, cast while channeling Cyclone, life tap, and then everything is automated. All I have to do is press one button, right? And Tartar Sauce procs my combustion, because we always ignite per our ascendancy, right? So it procs my combustion, it procs my curse, it procs my exposure, it procs everything, and we take 13% less damage while we are channeling Cyclone. And this is constantly going off. It's very nice. It's very quality of life. It's phenomenal. And as you can see here, it just kind of goes. And I've never had an issue of it popping too soon, and so you don't get the second hit. This thing will help clear like weak mobs in front of you or stragglers behind you, and it's just nice. And it procs everything that I need it to, and I just run around and do stuff. There will be a full mapping video at the very end, not counting the footage that's in the beginning. So that map will be at the very end if you guys want to check it out. And that's more or less how the build works. It's a pseudo 6-link helmet, Righteous Fire, which I know isn't as strong as it could be. But the utility setup is so much more worth losing the damage here, I think personally. And so for the 6-link here, we run Cyclone, cast while channeling, level 3, level 1, right? Because I don't really have a reliable way to reduce duration, right? And so it's a way that like we're proccing every 0.44 seconds. And so if the AoE gets too big, it doesn't allow itself to close in, and then it just repeats. You end up just hitting one time over and over and over, which is fine, but I would like to sync it up somewhat. So right now we're like 0.06 seconds off from the base duration of Wave of Tartar Sauce. So I opted to keep this at a much lower level, because you can get it like, 0.35, I think is level 20. Just to really make sure that I'm getting the double hit, to make sure that I'm always proccing when I need to proc at all times, no matter my position. And then I don't want it to end up being like a positional thing, right? So I just keep it at low level just to keep the trigger rate somewhat high. And then we do Wave of Conviction of Tartar Sauce, level 1 life tap, so that life tap is always with RF and it's always on. Combustion, which is a utility, and then Infused Channeling, which is also a utility. Truly, Pox's Fire Trap is 1000% the best way to go. There's no question. Like I said in the beginning, this is just like, hey, this is kind of a fun idea. Let's do it and see if it works. And oddly enough, it works very well. It works very well. But here, we lack single target to a very high degree. But we also have a lot of really cool, fun stuff going for us. Like, all I got to do is like zoom around a T16, T17. Everything dies. I don't have to do anything. It's great. I literally hold one button and occasionally hit spacebar for my shield charge or Q. It's like, it's nothing. This is the laziest build I've ever made, and it actually works like very well. I feel tanky. We got decent res, no block, 78 chaos res. How much? 5,400, almost 5,500 life. I mean, this is just a great build overall, right? And then for our auras, we run Skitterbots, Purity of Fire, and Determination. Summon Stone Golem, summon Lightning Golem, Chaos, and Flame for the area. Increased defenses, mana regen, and Chaos. For those that are curious, and this was going to be a main concern for me, I mean, how else am I going to be able, like, at least in the beginning before I had the 6-link, your Lightning Golem, like, completely solves all of your mana issues, just period. right? And then that kind of goes away. That really doesn't matter. Truthfully, I could probably dip on this at this point and go with Stone Golem of Safeguarding and be a lot more tanky v hits. But I do like having a little bit of a little snappy shield charge. So I kind of opt to keep Lightning Golem in, but that's just a personal preference. Then we have Life Tap, Shield Charge, and faster attacks. Swift Affliction, LE Focus, Righteous Fire, Life Tap. These will eventually be awakened if I choose to even go that far. I don't know if I'll end up doing that. And then I was left, when all the automation was set up, I was left with three empty sockets. And I was like, well, heck, what am I going to do there? I don't necessarily want to arrogance, vitality, and lower my life anymore. Because I finally feel like I'm at a good spot tank-wise. I feel like I'm at a good spot damage-wise. So what could we do? So we went with the Animate Guardian, since who cares if they die? It's really not a big deal. And it's linked to Minion Life and Meat Shield. And so far, I mean, it's kind of cooked. It's done very well. It hasn't died on me yet. But obviously, I'm just doing T16s that are just like, they're pretty juiced. Like our Atlas has a bunch of map effect, right? So it's getting hit, but we're using Leer Cast for the damage, Southbound Gloves, Inexorable Fate boots for the crit reduction, especially on bosses. We're using the Dawn Shield from Searing Exarch. We're using the Res Sword to give it all the res that it needs, because I don't have anything spec'd into minions. So we didn't really have a choice. If I wanted it to survive, it had to have 75 res. And then the chest piece is the pelt. Gurtgul's pelt, or whatever it is. You regen 10% of your life. And this thing's done great. And I essentially just get a free... I get just a free notable from the helmet. And I just have to run all I have to do is run an AG. Yeah, sign me up. I'm totally down for that. And even without that, you could swap the gear around and just run Kingmaker, and you'd be more the better for it. You'd probably end up doing more damage and being tankier at the same time, because everyone would have fortification, including yourself. But wait, it doesn't stop there. I also have my Merc set up a certain way where she has Legacy of Fury, so I get the free Scorch. She also converts even more of the Fizz to fire with her belt. And then eventually she'll have Zoph's Heart, so that the nearby enemies are covered in ash. So they take an extra 20% fire damage, which is a more multiplier, right? But that's like 3.5 div, and I'm not really trying to spend that right now, even though I have the cash. And she does like pretty generous chaos damage on top of that, right? So
what's our next move?
She is like fully tailored for this build, and I don't know. I'm very happy, very, very, very happy with the way this build turned out. I don't really have like a super thorough POB. I think I put it in POB early, but I kind of just did this off the dome, more or less. I mean, I think I checked a couple of things, but to be honest, I just was like, I don't really care. I'm just going to do it. Like, who cares? I was kind of thinking of abandoning the build, and I was like, who really cares what POB says? I don't care. Is it going to perform? I don't know. So, but we're here and it's performing, and man, I'm having an absolute blast with this build. So that's it. We're sitting at 861 chaos, 16 div, and yeah, we're just kind of hanging out. Guys, really appreciate y'all being here. If y'all like this kind of content and you like seeing these like cool ideas and you like seeing them come to fruition, do me a favor, please like, subscribe, and if you can, show this to Pox, because I want to see his reaction, because I think this is a really cool build. I think this is a very original build, and I would like it shared. I want more eyes on this, just because I think it's cool, and maybe somebody that's a lot better, or smarter, or more time or more currency, maybe they take it to the next level. I think that would be really cool, So that's it for me, boys and girls. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thanks for spending some of your precious time with me, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Be good, take care of yourselves, and God bless.
There is no justice, but divine justice.
Your body is the canvas, my blade.
This is not a battle you can win. Quin.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's okay. No, it is. It is. It is. But like, I mean, it is.
Can you take his slam?
Which slam?
Where he teleports over and does a little.
Oh, this? Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that. Oh, dude, I'm very happy with that, actually.
Took two.
Oh, and I took that. Okay, well, that makes me feel better.
That's not as impressive. I mean, the tentacle slam not as impressive.
No, he's almost dead. We did it. It can technically do it. Maven's definitely not happening.